I'm Estelle Thomson, your mistress of radiance, and this is Walk With Me in Butterfly Alley, a Chic West podcast revival. This is a 10-minute audio series about living a meaningful, sparkly life. One walk, one idea, one story. In each 10 minutes mini episode, I'll share with you what I've been thinking about, what life is teaching me, and maybe a question for your own reflection. So grab a coffee, lace up your shoes, or simply settle in. Let's take a walk together, unfiltered. Welcome to Butterfly Alley. I am an avid book lover and reader. Since my first book ever I read, it was a French version of Anne of Green Gable when I was about 8 years old. And I remember the satisfaction of finishing that book, which I donated. I was like clearing out some things and I donated a bunch of French book once. And I still think about that book. I should have never donated it because I remember the cover. I remember I had bought it at the PEI. I grew up in Quebec, so we had gone in the summer PEI trip camping for 2 weeks. And my favorite memory was going to the Anne of Green Gables, of course, and read the series after, but nothing like the first book. And I've been an avid reader ever since. I go through seasons for sure, but I knew designing my art studio that I would want a huge library. And I remember when Scott and I moved from Victoria, BC, because that's where I met him, to here to Nova Scotia. He was kind of pissed because I had like the only literally thing of value that I had were my books. And I was like, I'm not giving away my books. And the moving company went by weight. So he was pissed because like it was literally the most heaviest things were like my book. Anyways, it all turned out okay. My books came with me. And yeah, I love nurturing my library. I have, I'm sure you've seen it on a bunch of pictures. I love putting my books in like the color coded, and they books make me so happy. And I get nostalgic. I get very protective of my books. And if I lend you a book, you know that you're special for me because I don't lend my book often because I don't want them to get wrecked, because I take really good care of my books, which this translates also to my clothes, but probably that's for another podcast. But today I want to talk about, I have a challenge. I'm on Goodread, and my challenge this year is to read 36 books, which was my challenge last year, which I didn't make it. I think I was like 2 books short. But I was teaching like 2 international retreats, which kind of for a month there, I wasn't really reading because of that. So this year I'm kind of right on, like as I'm recording this, it's June and I'm halfway done. I've read 18 out of 36 books. So I'm really happy about that. And I wanted to share with you my number one read of the year, my number two read of the year, and everything else that I read and what I thought about that. I'm really a mixed bags. I have my what I call my morning books where they're more my spiritual texts. I read yoga scripture. I'm such a nerd. Like I'm passionate about spirituality and yoga and the experience of that. So in the mornings, I'll read some Radiant Sutras. I read this year, actually, one of my lists is the Freedom Transmission. That in itself could have its own podcast. I read my goddess books in the mornings. I do my meditations in the morning. So I feel in the morning it's like a different person than like who reads at night, which is more like literally rom-coms and like I just want to escape once I get into bed, and that really calms my nervous system. But okay, drum roll. The number one book I read this year, it's so good. It's The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. It's so good. It's like this grumpy old lady writing letters, and maybe you've seen it. I know my feed was kind of full with really good reviews on that book, and I really wasn't disappointed. I find like book you find online that's always hit or miss sometimes. Like, who knows? Like the random person speaking to you actually has the same taste as you, but The Correspondent was definitely my number one read this year, and so far, and it's a fiction. Another one that came close to being my number one so far is Go as a River by Shelley Reed. It's such a it's not a new read, and it's a book it's one of those books I had in my library for so long, and I never got the chance, and I finally picked it up and it stuck. When I started reading it, it stuck. And that was Go as a River by Shelley Reed. It's such a beautiful, it's a fiction, but the visuals and the grief inside, it was such a beautiful, complex, like, books that really show the humanity, and I think The Correspondent too shows that. The Correspondent is quirky, and there's, like, a lightheartedness to it. Go as a River was like, oh, just yeah, that one stuck with me, so I think, like, those are the 2.
If you love symbols, journaling, creativity, and a touch of everyday magic, you'll love exploring my Guide to a Magic Life Sacred Symbology Oracle deck, its coloring book of the same name, and my Artemis journal. I created each one to help you pause, reflect, and cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and the world of magic around you. They are beautiful companions for your morning rituals, moon rituals, creative afternoons, and quiet moments of self discovery. You can find them all at estellethomson.com under shop. Now back to our walk.
I've read a lot of rom-com. Oh my god. Let's go through them. I Let's make sure I catch them all. So I read, of course, I love Carly Fortune, so I read Our Perfect Storm. I read all of the Carly Fortune. I just love that they're set in Canada, and this one was set. The Perfect Storm was set in Tofino, which was so nostalgic because when Scott and I first started dating, like, he used to bring me there. So, like, I literally was reading it and I was like, "Oh my god, I think I've been there." And that's so cool. Like, I love reading her. Even, I don't know, I just get really excited when it's like she talks about going to Tim Hortons, or like this. It's like, it's my life. It's my life. I get that. So yeah, Carly Fortune. I read, I just talked about the Gary Graham. So I read The Deal by Elle Kennedy, which was off after watching the Off Campus show. I don't know. I think I like both the book, and sometimes, you're like, oh my god, the book's so much better. I don't know. I really love the TV show, so it was hard. It was hard to say. And I read Forever is the Sweetest Con by Joanna Thurlow. Joanna used to be my boss at Moksha Yoga Halifax, and it was a rom-com which took a really twist at the end. I was kind of like, what is happening? Loved it. So proud of you, Joe. Love reading. It's kind of fun, right? Reading a book that somebody that and you really look up to. So another book that I love that I actually read after watching the movie was Remarkably Bright Creatures. Another book that actually Isaiah is really into reading. It's actually one of the things we connect the most on. It's really fun when you have a 14-year-old and you can actually, like, connect on when you just need one thing, seriously. And he had bought it a few years back, and then the movie came out and we watched the movie together, which was so fun and so great and so tender. And then I read the book, and to be honest, I think I like the movie more than the book for some reason, but then it's kind of like, I don't know, they don't do, I find the now that they recreate so much more movies into book, I don't know, they've gotten so much better. I think before it was always like the book is so much better than the TV show. But now yeah, I thought the movie was so good. And then in terms of, like, I read creativity book, I read The Bad Artist. It's a collection of essays by a bunch of writers, really. And it's called Creating in a Productivity Obsessed World. Such a good book. It really made me feel seen as a creator. I love fantasies, as you know, I love Outlander, and I read the series, The Road of Bones by Demi Winter. I love the first one, so I read the second one, The Kingdom of Claws by Demi Winters. And there's a third one. I'm gonna wait, like, after the second one, I was like, okay, like I get it. Like I just wanna, I'm gonna take it back. I don't know. Sometimes you have to be kind of in the mood to read fantasy. Another book that I love was Finding Flora by Eleanor Florence. Another kind of drama. It was set in Canada. It was, yeah, again, anything that's set in Canada for me, it's like my heart strings kind of go like, yay. I love it so much. And then a series that I've been reading ongoing is the Unselected Journals of Emma Lyon. They're really small books. It's like her diary. It's set in the late 1800s and it's so funny, so clever. Again, a great grief discourse. I kind of read those books as like a palate cleanser to just kind of reset myself. Very funny. And yeah, I if you need just a quick book, sometimes I need like a quick book to just like, okay, I'm doing this. Like and then in terms of personal development, I read Kasia Urbaniak. I read Unbound, A Woman's Guide to Power. And it was really, really good. I'm going to use so much of it, maybe even include some of her work in my retreats. She used to be a dominatrix and now she's like a coach for women to take their power back, which is really, really interesting. I find a lot of the sexology, sex worlds, like they teach so much more than like what's happening in the bedroom. It's really all connected. I read Spirit Weaver with Wisdom Teachings from the Feminine Path of Magic, Serene Bertrand, who's a completely provocatress enchantress, and she's become such a core teacher of mine. And then books that I'm gonna tell you the books that I didn't really like that I read anyways. I don't have any like did not finish. One of my morning books, I think I was mentioning it, was The Freedom Transmission by Carissa Schumacher. And this is like Carissa Schumacher. She's a channeler. Is that she's a medium basically, and Yoshua, who's God, basically channels through her. So those are the transmission of Yeshua. It's like I read a lot of obscure like spiritual book. This is definitely like one of them. I still find it really powerful, and I could really connect it to goddess teaching and Shakti and all this. So really, really enjoy that. The books that I wouldn't even go back to. My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I think it's my second time I try to read her style, and I just can't do it. I get the style. It's kind of nostalgic, but it's like just very empty to me. And so I kind of give up. And My Brilliant Friend was like, so many times I was like, just stop reading. And I didn't, I finished it. And then good, God bless her. Casey Rose, You Deserve Good Gelato. I love like traveling books too. And I picked up this book and I didn't even know she's like a huge influencer. I started following her after on Instagram, but I'm totally like overarching assuming here, but books that are written by like really big Instagram stars are usually really not that good. And that was kind of the case. It kind of felt empty for me. But again, I'm someone that can read really dense stuff. So I think there's a way to approach traveling in a way that's like not just cute, but opens up your conscience. So yeah. So those are the books that I read. And I guess I forgot just one that I loved. I actually listened on audiobooks was The Girl Who Baptized Herself, how a lost scripture about the saint named Tekla revealed the power of knowing our worth. This is the same author that wrote Magdalene Reveal. And I'm really glad I listened to it audio. It is really like she's a scholar, right? So it got really nerdy, and so I'm glad that I would like just listen to it in the mornings before going swimming, and that was kind of perfect, almost like a meditation in itself. So that's it. I'm excited for the next 6 months and what books are going to pick me. Take care. Bye.